Michigan State game, how you want to be the guy to hit shots. But just when you reflect back on your tournament, what your shooting kind of came around. The reason for that, anything, or just getting the open looks or something else?
I think it's a little bit of everything as far as like get open looks. I feel like I'm putting myself in better positions to get the looks I want, take the shots, and I like the spots I like taking them. And I think Jaden and Travion, they do a good job of finding me, as well as Zach, pretty much everybody, but those two in particular.
Just what's that do for your confidence going into the NCAA tournament?
I think it's exactly what I need going into it. I think that's kind of what we lacked. Later half of our season last year. I think my shooting kind of went down then, and then turning out didn't shoot it that well in either tournament. So I think I might have hit 1-3 between those two games, the Ohio State and North Texas game. But yeah, I think it just does a lot for my confidence. Just as far as whenever I get those opportunities, I know those shots I can hit.
One of the challenges for you early in your career seemed like just being ready to shoot.
No doubt.
What's made you so ready this year?
These guys just they attract so much attention because they're like All-Americans. So then when your All-Americans can pass the ball, it just makes it that much easier. Especially because you know it's coming. Guys like when Jaden gets in the paint or if he's in transition, he's seen 2 to 3 jerseys from the other team. Same thing with Travion and Zach when they get in the post. We're seeing 2 guys. So you've seen 3. Just knowing I got to be ready, rotations and stuff like that.
Your majority of your career, you had the ball in your hands. Has it been a process for you learning to play with a guy like Jaden who's going to have the ball a lot and having to play kind of a complementary role to some of the bigs?
No, I think that's kind of like why I'm a little more comfortable. That's kind of how I was when I was in high school. I necessarily, I scored the ball a lot, but I wasn't necessarily making the play every time. I was kind of doing what I do now, being ready to dust the people off closeouts and stuff like that. So I think it's a little bit. I don't know. I'd say I'm used to bringing the ball. I don't know. I feel like I'm used to both at this point. Having the ball, being ball dominant, and also being on the other side of somebody making plays.
Was there kind of a moment your season changed?
Mine?
This year, yeah.
I don't think there's necessarily a game that it changed. You probably can see numbers-wise and productivity and stuff. But for me, it kind of happened just while I was putting work in on my own. Just staying at it every day, keep plugging, keep doing what I do, doing things I did to get to this point. So I think just reverting. There was a time where I just reverted back to my old ways, and it ended up working out for me a little bit.
Would that have been maybe around the time you got to the starting line?
Yeah, I think it was probably about 2 weeks before that, a week before that. What game was that? I can't think of that game.
Well, there was one game you started because Isaiah had to come off the bench. I can't remember when that was. It was 2 games after Iowa.
It's in Minnesota.
I want to say.
Minnesota. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
It was around that time, though.
It's probably written down somewhere. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. But around that 2-3 game span. I feel like I just need to see 1, maybe 2 go in. And I feel like I got my head back up.
Just the importance of you setting a defensive tone this time of year. How much of your importance lies in that?
I think that was really important parts of the postseason as a whole. Even starting with the Big Ten tournament, I thought I did a good job. I made even hit some tough shots, but I feel like that's what I made him take. I feel like nothing was really easy, and along with some other guys that I ended up on those matchups. But just doing my part because I know it starts with me. I feel like I'm the head of the snake when it comes to the defensive end, and I just kind of try to follow my lead when it comes to that. And Jaden last week was unreal on defense. So
I know it's not just simple, but Is turnovers, is that the number one thing on your list as far as clean it up? Other parts of the game kind of take care of itself?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, probably not it's an important issue for us, of course, because you don't want to give them the ball. But I think having every issue and that we have, like putting it on the same plane right now is important because you don't want to overthink certain stuff. And that's kind of what we did, I think, before the Iowa game. We talked about not turning over, and that's what we did. And I think that was one of our higher turnover games all year. So we kind of want to level everything out going into the postseason.
So you guys go into this tournament with people expecting a lot from you. It's going to be the end of the road for a lot of you guys here. How do you go into this relaxed?
Just thinking at it, for me, it's just thinking as it is, one game at a time. And I feel like I kind of naturally relaxed. At least I show it naturally and a little relaxed. But I mean, I just feel like I'm not going to go into it thinking it's going to be my last game. So that's kind of the mindset I want to have. I'm trying to get to the next game.
Big difference from your first NCAA tournament game then, huh?
Nope. Big difference. I don't even know what I was thinking. Whatever I was thinking for that whole week leading up to it changed, right? Like 2 seconds before the game. My whole outlook. But,
just looking at Yale a little bit, they do a good job on the defensive end of the court, just keeping that field goal percentage down, 3-point percentage down as well for some of their opposing teams. And also just looking at the Ivy League as a whole, they do a good job of forcing turnovers. Just what have you seen from them, I guess, on that defensive end of the court? What you guys kind of have to do to keep staying in your rhythm?
Yeah, I think for the amount that I've seen so far, like I think they do a good job of making you, taking away your first, second, sometimes your third actions. And they make you just have long possessions. And in those long possessions, people get impatient, you turn the ball over. So I think they got a good mixture of that going, of just taking away people's early offense and making it harder. That's what I think is a lot of teams in the Big Ten do, especially this year. We saw it a lot. But yeah.
You mentioned just obviously your first NCAA tournament experience back then, just what was going through your mind, just hectic and whatnot. But as you move past the Big Ten tournament, Big Ten play this year, just where do you think you're at, I guess, and the team in general, in terms of just kind of focusing in, kind of processing this matchup, I guess, and getting ready to go one game at a time?
Yeah, the only word to kind of describe, I think, myself and all of us is just ready. I think we showed we were ready at the beginning of the Big Ten tournament, but of course it didn't end the way we wanted it to. But that just makes us even more ready to get back to working towards winning the championship.
I assume you guard Swain.
No doubt.
What are your first impressions of him?
He's a good player. He's super patient. Obviously can really shoot the ball from pretty much anywhere. It's kind of, he's like, I feel like he's more of he's like kind of like Jordan Bohannon in a way. He can explode from outside the arc, but he also can, be patient inside, get to his step backs and little floaters and stuff like that. So he's a good player, really good player.